This is To All the Books We Love, our 2024 book recommendations just for you. In this video, we're going to be sharing our top 3 2023 books that we love so much and we believe you should be reading or you should have read in 2024. So if reading books is something that is on your 2024 vision board or your goals for 2024, then this video is for you.
I just mentioned that it was really hard for me when she begged me to do this video because, like, I read so many books and I really can't pick, the top 3. So,
okay.
Yeah.
So my number 3 book recommendation would be Patsy, which is a book by Nicole Dennis Ben. This book is a 10 out of 10. I would
Exactly. It's really nice because I read it before she did.
Can you let me recommend the book?
Okay, carry on.
So it has themes of trauma, self-harm, rape, and a lot of that gory stuff. But I would definitely still recommend it because when I finished the book, I completely understood why the book was written like that and like what exactly was the beauty behind all of that. Although it's a big one, I would definitely recommend it for you. And I may have not been able to find the actual moral of the story while reading it, but it's definitely one that you want to read. Let me just read you the excerpts from the back. Patsy is the name of the character in the book. Patsy yearns to escape the beautiful but impoverished Jamaica town which she was raised for a new life in New York and the chance to start afresh. Above all, she hopes to be reunited with her oldest friend Cicely and to rekindle their young love. But spreading her wings will come at a price. She must leave her 5-year-old daughter, True, behind. And Patsy is soon confronted by the stark reality of life as an undocumented migrant in a hostile city. So definitely recommend this for you. And it's also LGBTQ. So yeah, just know that because I didn't know that before I read it.
My third book on the list would be something I read like ever since, and it's a very common book because like it's been going around in Nigerian literary spaces. It's Nearly All the Men in Lagos Are Mad by Lara Kuku. I really liked it because it was like
me too. I like it very much. I read it in like 2 days.
Okay, I read it in
You didn't read it in 1 day. You didn't read it in 1 day.
I read it in a few hours.
Right.
Funny, this was one of the first books that started my book collection. Oh yeah, and I have a collection of books. She doesn't. I do.
Clearly.
Yeah. I really like it because like it's so contemporary. This is one of those authors, like, and a book aside Chimamanda that has been able to, like, why are you looking at me like that? That has been able to, grasp the whole contemporary Nigeria. And then Chimamanda was so I won't say millennial, but like, she was for the millennials and the Gen X's when she was writing books like Purple Hibiscus and Americana, and this one is what I'd say Gen Z, right? Like really contemporary, and it's really portrays life right now, 2020. Okay, this was written in like 2022, I believe. 2021. Okay, it was 2021. So like it really captured that whole, life. It's a collection of 12 short stories, and from the name, I mean, you'd want to read it. One thing I love with this woman is that her entries, like her introductions, immediately get you sold. What happened to hello? One night, you will calmly put a knife to your husband's and promise to cut it off. It will scare him so much that the next day he will call his family members for a meeting in the house. He will not call your family members, but you will not care. You will need that. So from the beginning, you already know that you're in for a ride, and really, men are mental,
I would rate Patsy 10 out of 10.
I have to criticize Sharon. Patsy was, it was all that, but it wasn't all that.
I feel like Patsy was all that. It just did something to me.
It did something to me also.
That's why I would
went
give it 10 out of 10.
on and on. But yes, I will give this.
It went on and on because we were trying to explain the story. They were trying to give a background to the story.
I understand that it was a Bill-Dong's romance, but like it went on and
it's
on.
It's not about the romance, like that. There are deep-seated themes in this book that had to be discussed. That's why it is so long.
I'm about to make you feel very odd right now.
Okay.
If Bill-Dong's romance has nothing to do with romance. She needs to, all these sounds.
Oh, sorry, I'm the one editing it, so I will not put it. In fact, this part is cut out.
It was a bit long that, it really, shows her life. But we start from the beginning to the end, and
I
some
like
parts
that.
felt too dragged out. But like, it's a really really nice book, and it really opened me to the idea of other languages like Jamaican
Yes,
pidgin.
there was a lot of patois
Patois,
inside,
it was
so
really, really
definitely read
nice.
it.
So I'd rate this one 10/10 because it's one of those books that really captured Nigerian
Essence.
contemporary ever since Chimamanda and Go the Woman. It's like,
It's a really nice book. I would definitely rate it a 10 out of 10.
exactly, and it's a short read. It's just like 243 pages.
It's definitely something like when you start reading, you wouldn't want to stop. You keep on reading it.
Exactly.
So, yeah. The next book on my top 3, which is coming strong as number 2, it was very, very hard to pick out this book, but it's Grown by Tiffany D. Jackson. The book is literally it is 100 out of 10 in my opinion, in my very, very strong expertise opinion. There's so many great literary devices used. The storytelling method was beautiful, captivating. Not to talk of the story and the message she was trying to pass behind the book. Like, I don't want to spoil this book for you. Like, there's nothing more I could say. The book is going to be spoiled, but I would say every young adult should definitely read it, and don't just like read it as per you're reading a book. Like, try to grasp and understand exactly what she was talking about. She made so many references, pop culture references actually, of big events that happen in pop culture, but people are trying to still downplay. This event happened in like 2013, 2010. To this day, it's still kind of being downplayed.
Which events?
It talked about
It's the next book. It's actually it's a current book. It's The Niger Wife by Vanessa Walters. Yes, from the cover, and it's lengthy for good reason. Small premises of the book. So this woman, a Niger Wife is basically all those groups of women from other countries that like get married to Nigeria and then they like have their own club. It's really cult like, but like okay. Said woman, she gets missing, right? She's lost and like everyone is looking for her.
don't spoil it too much.
It's just like a premise. It's written here.
Okay.
So, let me just read this instead. Nicole, said woman, disappears without a trace after a boat trip. And then the cracks in her life, I'm paraphrasing, and then the cracks in her so-called perfect life starts to show. As investigation turns up to nothing but dead ends, her auntie Claudine flies to Nigeria and to take matters into her hands. As she digs into her niece's life, she uncovers a hidden side filled with dark secrets, isolation, and violence. But the more she finds out about Nicole, the more Claudine's own buried history threatens to come to life. I don't mean to brag about, my, collection of books. But if you've read this book, Gone Girl by Jalen Thiel, and you liked it, then, you would like this book. Because this is, like, a Nigerian version of this book. And it's just like, oh my goodness, I cannot tell you how nice it is, right? So there's murder, mystery, thriller, crime, and everything. What made it particularly funny and, one of the kinds that it's set in Nigeria, and we usually don't have books like this in Nigeria. Because the first thing I thought about was like crime in Nigeria. Nobody really cares about crime in Nigeria. Like you can get away with a murder in Nigeria, and like nothing is going to happen. Okay, Sharon. Yeah, but then they're like rich and everything, so the police actually cares about what's going on, and it's just really, really lovely. And there's so many cliffhangers and everything. It's a really, really, really good read. I definitely rate it 8/10. Yeah, and it's a debut novel. So, like, for a debut novel, it's really, really good.
Now for our number ones, not twos, ones. Drum roll, please.
Da, 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 da.
There's going to be a sound effect. Drum roll, please. For me, my number 1 book is Six of Crows by Lee Bardugo. This book dragged me out of a reading slump and it put me into the world of fantasy. I've never been one to read fantasy novels. I always stick between romance, thrillers, and self-help. I'm looking for I'm paranormal, but now I hate paranormal. I love this book. Like, I would give it a 1000/10. And you guys may be thinking that my rating scale is off, but honestly, these books are to die for. That's why they're my top 3. I read a lot of books last year, but these are my top 3. Six of Crows is a beautiful book. I would say Her writing style is definitely beautiful. It's all these books that allow you to make the scenes in your head, like they give you enough information to make up the scenes in your head so you feel like you're actually in the book and not just reading it. So it's all about a group of thieves, if you might say, trying to bring justice to the world. I don't know how to give you just like the skeleton version of Six of Crows, but I would definitely say that you should please read it. If you have never tried fantasy before, definitely read Six of Crows. But I have to warn you, it's going to drag you into the universe of, like, this book has a whole universe, and I really had to stop myself to allow the suspense build before I read this second book. It's a 2-book series, but like there are other books that are like sisters and brothers of the book, which just make up the whole universe. So I would definitely recommend this book for you, especially if you are trying to get into fantasy, or you have never read any fantasy before, or you are a fantasy lover.
It was very hard picking this, but I really like the author. She's my next favorite author after Chimamanda. So my next favorite book is The Death of Vivek Oji by Akwaeke Emezi. I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce their name, but like, yeah, Akwaeke Emezi. So this book is chaotic, and recently Akwaeke, she's become mainstream in Nigerian literary spaces. Shifts towards taboos and in a very nice way. So like she writes about things that you won't find contemporary Nigerians writing about because they are taboo or whatever. So the Death of Vivek Oji, this was one of those books, those Nigerian books that carry a lot of gravity, and it was just like, wow. So basically the premises of the book, right? It's literally the name, The Death of Vivek Oji. And I don't mean to spoil it, but I'm going to spoil it.
No, we don't spoil on this channel.
I'm not going to spoil it. So the themes explore, LGBTQ, which is, taboo in Nigeria. So like in Nigerian spaces, but like I think with her and the onset of her books, she's trying to like, destigmatize this type of things, and it's like in a very good way. And she has other taboos like incest and stuff, but like don't focus too much on the incest. It's the whole story.
There was incest in Vivek.
Yes.
Who incest?
This book acts as some sort of social commentary to like, expand ourselves and, expand what we consider taboo, because it's 2024. Who's still homophobic in 2024? A really nice read. Even if it's my favorite, I give it 7.5 to 8/10 because the whole storyline was nice, but like, I really couldn't get over the incest fact because I think it was just added to give some sort of emotional depth and something. I feel like the story would have gone okay without it, but then if she had added it, she wouldn't have gone off to be this taboo writer, because like her other books deal with more taboo things, and like I like how she leans to the unspoken of, and it just really makes her a very esoteric author.
So my bonus book for you is Butter Bread Pig Honey by Francesca Ekweyasi, I believe. I love this book. Like, I'm never going to give you context to this book because it's so great. I would definitely recommend you to read it if you're into African literature. There's a lot of prowess in it. I just love it so much. Like, I hold this book dear to my heart, and I don't know if there's more I can say about this book to you, but all I want to say is read the book and come and comment down below how much you love it.
In the lieu of social commentary and like everything that's going on today, my bonus book would be The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood and its sequel, The Testament. I feel like everyone should have an idea of what The Handmaid's Tale is about. Ever since 1980 whatever, it's been such a cultural reset. It's dystopian fiction, and I've recently gotten into dystopian fiction, right? Ever since like
What's
last
dystopian
year.
fiction?
Dystopian fiction. It's dystopian fiction. Okay, you know what dystopias are about, like end of the world type of stuff and stuff like that. It grasps contents from like 1984, George Orwell, Animal, all those classical dystopian books. But what makes this book a one of a kind dystopian novel is that it focused solely on the issue of women and what would happen to women in these societies. Like regular dystopian societies just talk about, they're usually from the perspective of white men, and looking at this, white men won't suffer, they would suffer systematically in a dystopian, but then it will be on the basis of, regular totalitarianism. Or thing with like other marginalized communities, like women, colored people, and stuff like that. Did we still say colored people? Because women and other marginalized groups would suffer more in dystopian society. So that's what this book, The Handmaid's Tale, talks about. The fascist, group of people have taken over America, and Christianists, the Christianists, the Republic of Gilead, right? So they divide women into subsects based on their functions, because like something happened in the country, and like infertility issues. So the handmaids are the women who can get pregnant, and then there's the Marthas, they're like maids, and they're the aunts, they're the ones that prepare the handmaid's tale for like their business, and they're the wives, these are the highest hierarchy in the women. And like the handmaid's tale, they're basically forced to like produce children and everything in lieu of keeping the population stable. I would advise you to read it. The Handmaid's Tale and The Testament by Margaret Atwood.
That is it for our top 3 books and a bonus for you to read and jumpstart your 2024 reading goals if you have any, or if you want to have any.
You really should.
Thank you so much for staying with us to this part of the video. Talitha, do you have any end notes you want to say to me?
I must be very happy for having me, and I thank you for having me, and you should also thank me for deciding to have me.
I want you guys to comment thank you to Talitha so that I can inflate her already inflated ego, and she
People
can
are finally saying
are you okay? Let's know what books you are totally in love with. I honestly want to know you guys top 3 books and a bonus if you must. So yeah, so that we can just have like a whole reading community going on. Thank you so much for reaching this part of the video. Make sure to subscribe. All Talitha's information is going to be down below in the description, so make sure you subscribe. Support your girls. You only have a snap.
I'm on a social media break because I'm taking time off to read. Yeah.
Okay, see you guys later. Mwah. Bye.
Goodbye.
Hi guys, this is To All the Books We Love, our 2024 book recommendations just for you.
Yeah, what she said.
This is To All the Books. And for me,
Yes, I'm taking a picture.
you're taking a picture in the middle of the filming. This is serious business. Our 2020 butter bread pig. Bring your power bank. Book recommendation. Video on this channel is we say mwah, bye.
No, it won't fit my aesthetic.